Maybe nice kicks, hype beats for hype shit. Dunk high, Wu-Tang, all up on my fly kicks. I'm just a sneakerhead. I'm just a sneakerhead. I'm just a sneakerhead. 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 I'm just a sneakerhead.
What's going up? What's going on, YouTube? I'm back and I'm here to talk a little bit more about sneakers, and I figured I'd start off with the shoe that kind of created the love of the culture for me, the Converse Chuck Taylors. And as you can see, these are a specific kind of cut, something that if you live around where I live, you'd probably find a couple of them, but they're not ones that you usually think about when you hear the word Chucks or Converse. These are known as the Chuck Taylor Street Highs, and they've just become my favorite type of Chuck recently. But before I go into that, we can start off with a little bit of why the Converse Chuck Taylor means a lot to me. So, I guess it all really began with elementary school because, I would see that the shoe, it was so simple, yet it looked so cool. It seemed like anybody could wear it because I would see teachers wear it, I would see mothers wear it, I'd see parents wear it, I'd see teenagers wear it. This is like a staple shoe for anybody, from the little boy just running around the park to the mom grabbing groceries, to the dad picking up the kids. The Converse is just a timeless shoe, it's something that's always going to live on. And it especially gained a lot of popularity ever since, Kamala Harris herself admitted that the Converse was her favorite sneaker too, how she has a big collection of them. And I think that was one thing that just further solidified I already had a solid love for the Chuck, but just hearing VP Harris say that, and then when she was on an episode of Sneaker Shopping, which I will put down the link for at the bottom of this page, and and when I was really pissed that when Kamala Harris posed for Vogue magazine and her original one had her wearing Chuck Taylors, and she faced a lot of backlash for it. Come on! That picture showed that she was, in the end, she was for the people, by the people, of the people, and she was definitely devoted to being herself and showing us the real her. And as much as she wants to make sure that she keeps a great, professional, and inspiring image, especially with my generation, we just find it really hard to trust, suits and vests and ties anymore. So when we saw a politician roll up in sneakers, especially a woman of color, we were just, for all the backlash, there's much more support. It felt great, because to know that the Converse was a shoe that I've loved for so long, even before I got super into the sneaker head game, it just was recognized as well as it is. So, so back to my story, elementary school, grew up, all I wanted was a pair of Converse. They were just so cool, and I'm pretty sure I had some already, but I wasn't that obsessed with it yet, with the shoe game. And it just looked cool. But I'm from a working class immigrant family, and where I can just buy any new pair of sneakers I wanted. I would only get a new pair of shoes, just one new pair of shoes every school year. So that meant I'd only have one pair of shoes that I would go in to beat up, to go play basketball in, to go play outside, to go to school in. I would just have one pair of shoes. It wasn't until middle school where I started getting lucky and had 2 or 3 pairs of shoes at the same time. And Converse, now looking back, Converse is pretty much the sneaker that got me into that love for shoes, in my opinion, because see, I didn't really get into the sneakerhead game until about a year and a half ago, when I started working on my own and being able to get my own shit. But I was already having the the foundation for the mindset of a sneakerhead, because I liked looking at what people were wearing. I would be impressed if they were wearing something I really liked, and even though I wasn't always doing the nod or something like that, when I saw someone wearing Converse, I just think in my head, okay, I see you, because even when I wasn't sure how I felt about other shoes, I knew what I felt about for the Converse, and by the time I got to middle school, whenever I had a couple of shoes in my rotation, I always had a pair of Chucks in my rotation. They would be the shoes I'd beat up the most, and when I would have a little birthday money or a little money that my dad would give me for helping him out with a job, and I felt like I could afford it, like in high school, that's when I finally started buying my own shoes. But the Converse was always something I was gonna put on, rock whenever I felt like it. It was like, even when I was figuring out my way with what Jordans I liked, or what Dunks I liked, or what Air Forces or Air Maxes I liked, I could always count on these shoes to look fly on me no matter what I was wearing. And I'm grateful for that, because Converse has always been there for me growing up. And when I finally got my job at Waffle House and began working and saved money and actually had this financial freedom, this right here was the first pair I copped. Ordered these on Amazon. These were my first street highs. I'd had the standard Chucks and a pair of mids, but the street highs, I just saw these and I was just like, oh shit, yeah, I definitely gotta have these shits, and eventually before I got into the sneaker shops on my block, like in where I live, like the Shoebox or Atlanta Addictions, I would go to this place called the Shoe Carnival, and they would always have some fresh pairs of street highs, and so I just started building the collection from there. These two were the next that I copped, and then a while later, when I was a little more educated in the sneaker game and already had a couple of Jordans in my belt, I got these. And so yeah, but these are the most recent pairs that I've copped. I've only had these for like a week or two, and I'm ashamed to say that I haven't yet had the chance to put them on, but with the pandemic, I don't go out that much, and I just don't feel like wearing my shoes unless I'm going out doing something. And I have other shoes that I haven't yet tried on, done the whole post for the gram and shit like that. So it's amazing, but these have the same kind of lifestyle as Jordans, you know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, they're different material, they're a different status symbol, but even when they're not super hyped, they've never faded away, no matter where I went, I would always see at least one person, be they like, doesn't matter whether they were young or old, whether they were white, black, Latino, or Asian, or didn't matter if they were like, or in the media, it didn't matter if they were like rich or if they were like working class people that you would see walking around the block. The Converse is just a shoe that does not die. It's just something that's meant for the street. These were popularized in the streets just like many other shoes. Working class kids would wear them. You'd see them being worn all the time, and it's definitely famous, with LA, Snoop, Cube, Ice Cube, stuff like that, Converse are just a shoe meant for the people, of the people, for the people, by the people. This is something that is meaningful, because it's a timeless shoe. Like the Jordans and the Blazers, these started off as basketball shoes, but now they're just basically lifestyle shoes. There's something that you would wear on an everyday basis, and how people seem to forget that they've seemed to have forgotten. This was something that you would use. This used to be a shoe that ballers would use on the court. You know what I'm saying? Different pairs, but I have 6 pairs of the same cut of Converse. 6 pairs of street highs here. So, like I said, these were the first pairs that I copped, the classic black and whites. And I just really liked wearing them and beating them up. But this was also at the time when I got introduced to Jason Mark and learned about the importance of keeping my kicks clean. So when you look at these, you can tell that they've been worn quite a bit and shit like that, but I still keep them fresh. And these ones, this is when I really learned how hard it can be to keep your kicks clean, and learning the difference between cleaning canvas in comparison to leather, especially white canvas. And I had to learn a bunch of different tips, and definitely the white shoelaces, because look, this here, it was once white yellowed, and I didn't understand why, but dirt just kind of hangs on. But then you learn the trick about the toothbrush and using a little bit of whitening toothpaste when you're cleaning canvas sneakers, not just Converse. That was a helpful tip. And you know how people tell you not to wear super dark blue jeans with white Air Forces, because that denim can just bleed onto the white shoes. I was so scared of that happening, and I was doing pin rolls, and I was just getting paranoid that it was actually happening to my shoe. Again, I was still a newbie when it came to the sneaker game, and as you can see right now, I'm still being paranoid, looking for any denim bleeding here, but that's just how it is. Oh, here's a funny story. When I first wore this pair, I was visiting my buddy Coy, and it was it was a day after it rained. It was still kind of a little bit musky, wet, and stuff like that. And his apartment complex, when you will go to his side, his building, there was a little bit of mud, and I tried my best to avoid it, but man, I got these shits really dirty, and that's when I really had to put my Jason Mark gear to the test. And as you can see, these were really fine, but yeah, they had mud splattered everywhere on these shits. I was so scared that this pair that I just bought was gonna go bad, but it didn't. And yeah, there's not much I could say about these because I haven't worn them yet, but like with all my other shoes, I bought these particular ones because I was feeling them. Classic colorways. I liked the Chuck decoration here. This one was a classic white. You gotta have something like that. And this one, the name of this pair from the box, it just called to me, like storm gray, and this feeling of leather instead of canvas here. It just blew my mind away, and I really liked it. So I just knew I had to get this pair. And the blue and grays, blue and gray just go great together, especially if it's navy blue. And I always felt like I was sooner or later going to get a pair of red Converse. I just had to figure out what was the right one. And then when I went to Shoe Carnival hoping I could find some new street highs, by the grace of God, these two were just in the midst. I just saw them, and I knew I had to have them, and they were in my size. The ones on display were my size. It was a great day, but again, the Converse just means so much to me, and that's why I have so many pairs. In the street highs, most of my sneakers are high tops, but my Converse, I just have a whole column dedicated to just these 6 pairs. It's my Converse column. So, I am still, like, I don't need to explain myself. I'm a sneakerhead all the way, Sneakerhead doesn't mean you have to be exclusively Jordans or shit like that. It just has to be good shoes that you appreciate, and it's something you rock, and it's something you're feeling, because, everyone's talking about the hype shit. But in the end, wear what you fucking like, collect what you fucking want, buy what you fucking like. You're developing your identity for you, not for anybody else. And Converse are just such an integral part of my identity. And no matter how many times, no matter how many Jordans or Air Maxes or Dunks I'm collecting, I can always count on these shoes to just make me feel right. Anyway, I'm just glad I could share a little bit of the stories, and I'm going to be hopefully posting videos of my other sneakers, but, I just wanted to start off with my all-time favorite shoe, the Converse Chuck Taylor, these Street Highs. Thank you for watching this video. Look forward to next time. Peace.